Lamava, Leno, Ted Lieu, Carol Liu, Lowenthal, Greta McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Rubio, Runner, Semidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Vargas, Walters, Wolk, Wright, Weiland, Yee.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. A quorum has been established. Could we ask that the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this afternoon by our chaplain, Rabbi Mona Alfi, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Senator Evans.
Good afternoon. O gracious God of mercy and justice, we stand before you today united in pride for our country and with a profound sense of gratitude for our men and women in the armed forces who each and every day put their lives in harm's way to protect us and the freedom we treasure. Through your prophet Isaiah, you spoke to us, saying, "Seek justice, encourage the oppressed, defend the cause of the fatherless, and plead the case of the widow." We also remember at this time all those who have lost loved ones throughout these many years from the senseless terrorist attacks on innocent lives. We pray for their families that they may find solace in the knowledge that one of those who is responsible for their pain has been brought to justice. May you have mercy and compassion on all of our armed forces. May you bring healing to those who mourn. And may you bring peace upon us and all the world. In your holy name, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you, Senator Evans. Senator Steinberg, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Very, very briefly, to adjourn in memory, and our wonderful chaplain really said it all. I just want to add a couple of brief words. I want to adjourn in memory of the thousands of people who lost their lives on 9/11 and our brave soldiers who have lost their lives, been injured in the battle against global terrorism. Last night was a profound night for our country, and it's hard to know, exactly how to react to the death of anybody, but I think it was a very important night and day for the country, and it makes us realize that we must never forget the people who died innocently, the people who have died in the furtherance of service of our country, and in their memories, I know Senator Padilla wants to add some words. We adjourn. Thank you.
Mr. President, colleagues, absolutely. I appreciate Senator Steinberg sort of opening today's meeting with the recognition of the events from yesterday. Hugely significant, in my opinion, not just as an act in and of itself, but a tremendous milestone in our global war on terror, as he mentioned. I think it's safe to say that everybody will forever remember where they were when they heard the news about the 9/11 attacks. In that same spirit, I think everybody will remember where they were when they heard the news about the murder of bin Laden and the retrieval of the body. As our chaplain said, finally, justice for so many families. But as we keep the families of the victims of 9/11 in mind, I think it's important that we remind ourselves of a couple of things, that it is not, while it is the end of a chapter, it's not the end of the final chapter of our war on terror. We need to remain vigilant because those who would seek to do us and democracy harm continue to plot each and every day around the world. I also think it's important for us to stop and acknowledge the many, many Californians who are doing their part in this effort, from the men and women of the military and other forces, but in particular, two very high-profile Californians. Intelligence Director Leon Panetta, former member of our congressional delegation, former White House Chief of Staff, and certainly somebody with tremendous roles and responsibility that he's playing today. United States Senator Dianne Feinstein, chair of the Intelligence Committee in the Senate, and many others. But yesterday's event was hugely significant, and I appreciate us recognizing not just yesterday's events for what they are, but in the spirit of nearly a decade after the horrific events of 9/11, we ask that we keep their families in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Senator Steinberg. Thank you, Senator Padilla. Before I go to Senator Gaines, members, I just want to indicate that without objection, Senate Rule 55 will be waived in order that a member of the lobbying corps may accompany our visitors from Tanzania to the floor. So we will be allowing, without objection, a rule waiver for Senate Rule 55. Without objection, so ordered. Senator Gaines.
Yeah, I too wanted to recognize the victory in the killing of bin Laden, and I think there was great leadership displayed both by President Bush and by President Obama, and we've got to keep our eyes focused on continued vigilance to make sure that terrorism is always kept in check around the world. And want to thank our troops for the battles that they have fought for nearly a decade, and for their families and the loved ones, and our thoughts and prayers for those who have been lost in these many battles. Thank you.
Thank you again, Senator Gaines. Senator Calderon, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Permission to allow my daughter on the floor.
Without objection, members?
Thank you.
Permission granted. Thank you. Members, that takes us to privileges of the floor. Senator Price, for what purpose do you rise, sir? One moment, Senator Price. At Senator Steinberg's desk, please.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I'd like to introduce a special guest today, the Honorable Amina Saloum Ali, the African Union Ambassador to the United States, and to present her with this resolution honoring her for her work in international trade. Established in July of 2002, the African Union is an organization that consists of 53 African states. Ambassador Ali was born and raised on the island of Zanzibar, located off the coast of the United Republic of Tanzania. She has held various ministerial posts in the Tanzanian government, the most recent of which was the Minister of State in the office of the Chief Minister in Zanzibar. She was also a long-serving member of Parliament. Ambassador Ali plays a vital role in fostering relationships with the United States by working diligently to communicate the needs of the constituencies of the African Union to members here in the United States. Please join me in welcoming her.
Ambassador, thank you for joining us here in the California State Senate. We welcome you.
Without objection, we'd like for her to be able to make some brief remarks.
Absolutely. Ambassador, we're pleased to hear from you. Thank you and welcome again.
Thank you so much, Honorable President, Honorable Senators. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come today and present and introduce my institution, African Union, to the state of California. African Union, many of us know as a political institution, but African Union is also a development institution. And today I came to talk about the opportunity and potential for Africa. Africa now is an attractive investment destination, also to the most productive center for investors because the return of investment is very high. Also, Africa remains the continent with abundant resources to share in terms of the share of the world's major mineral resources as well as other types of natural resources. Also, we have registered for the last decade, Africa is, in terms of economic growth, GDP was very, very high. Even now, when we talk about, when we follow the economic downfall, in terms of recession, in terms of difficulties, Africa, the growth is very high. I'll give you an example of one of the most fastest growing area in Africa is East Africa. And for the last 2 years, East Africa, we are projecting to grow over 4.5 to 6%. And today, fortunately, we have also my members, my ministers and delegation from Tanzania, they are here, and I would like to assure you that Africa is a place where to invest. Also, let me finish by saying we are also a member of AGOA because U.S. administration have given us market access for investment that comes for products that come from Africa. So for the state of California, this is an opportunity for investors, for private companies to participate and to partner with African government to be able to take advantage of the resources and the opportunity that we have. Right now it was registered for a company, the return of investment from Africa is about 30%. You can never get anywhere in this world an investment return of 30%. Thank you very much, Honorable President. I would like to especially thank Senator Price for enabling me to facilitate my visit today in the Senate, and thank you all, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Members, we will move briefly to messages from the governor, which will be deemed read, messages from the Assembly, which will be deemed read, reports of committee, which will be deemed read, and amendments adopted. And we'll go back to Senator Price. Do you have further introduction, Senator Price?
Yes, Mr. President, I do. I also have the pleasure of introducing a distinguished group of officials from Tanzania, led by the Honorable Mark Mwandosia, the Minister for Water. He's joined by the Honorable William Ngelaja, the Minister for Energy and Minerals, accompanied by members of the Energy and Water Utility Regulatory Authority in Tanzania. The delegation is visiting California to explore best practices in energy and water utilities regulation and to learn strategies to improve water service delivery. Members, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our guests from Tanzania.
Thank you, Senator Price, and welcome to our guests. Senator Price, do you have further introductions at this time? Senator Price, it appears you're the fellow to talk to. For what purpose do you rise?
I have additional introductions. In addition to having international guests here today, I also have some very, very special guests from my district. The Junior League of Greater Los Angeles is celebrating its 85th anniversary this year. The Junior League, as you know, is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and to improving the community through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Its purpose is exclusively educational and charitable. They reach out to women of all races, religions, and national origins to demonstrate an interest in and a commitment to volunteerism and the community. Members, please join me in welcoming members Anna Jackson, the President, Julie Elgener, the Public Policy Director, Joy Burkhard, the Junior Leagues of California State Public Affairs Committee Co-Chair, Darlene Maui, the President SPAC Delegate, Elaine Brozowski, the Junior SPAC Delegate, Jen Doosan, PAC Associate, September Hill, the Public Affairs Committee Chair, and Ann Clark, Incoming Policy Director.
Thank you, Senator Price. We join you in welcoming our guests from the California Junior Leagues. Members, do we have additional items under privileges of the floor? Senator Calderon, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Purposes of introduction.
Please proceed.
I would just like to welcome and introduce my daughter, Jessica Calderon, here visiting today.
Pleased to welcome her. Thank you. All right. Members, if that completes the items under privileges of the floor, and I believe it does, then we will move to motions and resolutions. Senator Leno, Let me first indicate that without objection, Joint Rule 62A will be suspended to allow the Environmental Quality Committee to meet on Wednesday, May 4th at 2 p.m. without 2 days' notice in the daily file in order for Senate Bills 431, 560, 688, and 735 to be heard. Without objection, Joint Rule 62A will be suspended for that purpose. So ordered. We are... Senator Dutton, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
You know, before we actually start working the file, I'm going to require a Republican caucus in the Cox Clubhouse.
A Republican caucus in the Cox Lounge and a Democratic caucus, is that correct, Senator Steinberg, in the Maddie Lounge. Members, we are in caucus.